Hello everyone, so welcome back to the fourth episode of the NgRx tutorials. So in the last video, what we essentially discussed was how we actually dynamically, load a particular state in the NgRx store, right? So that is what we saw in the last video. In this video, we'll be actually creating our first action, and we'll be also creating our first ever reducer function. And the action will basically trigger. It will be dispatched from the component. It will go ahead and change the Redux store. So currently, if you see in the Redux store, we have just shown an initial state of contacts which is blank. Okay, but going ahead, we are getting the contact list from an API service. So this whole list will be we'll be going ahead and dumping it in the NgRx store. So we'll be writing an action, and once that action is dispatched, it will go ahead and call the reducer function, and the reducer will go ahead and update the actual store. So let's get started on that quickly. So if I go back to the code, so at this level, what we can do is at the dashboard module level, we can create another folder called actions. Okay, and in actions, what we can do is we can create another file called as dashboard.actions.ts. Okay, so this is the place where you will have all your actions in one particular file. So let's create our first ever action. So what we essentially want to do is we want to load all the contacts that we get from a network call. We want to dump it in the NgRx store, right? So we'll name this action load contacts. Okay, so we need to export that. So let's say export constant load contacts. Okay, equal to, now the way to create an action is by calling the create action function. Okay, and this will be part of your NgRx store. So it takes in two arguments, and the second argument is basically an optional parameter. So the first argument is your action type. Okay, and this will always be a string value. Okay, so here you basically specify what your action does and where it's actually triggered from. So it's actually triggered from our dashboard module or the dashboard component. So let's say dashboard page. Okay, and what it does is it loads the contacts. Okay, and it will actually take into account this is the second what you call parameter that it takes in. It doesn't take in any parameter, the props function, but it will take generics here, which will be of type contacts, and we can use the contact interface here. Okay, we'll remove the semicolon. Okay, this is how you create an action in NgRx. So our action is ready. Now what we need to do is, so let's say going ahead, there will be multiple actions within this file, and we need to export all these contacts, right? And the thing is, we'll create another file along with actions, which is basically index.ts. You'll know why I'm actually creating this. So what I'll do first here is I'll import everything which is exported from your dashboard actions file, and okay, this is as dashboard actions from dashboard actions. Okay, now I'll basically export it with a name dashboard actions. All right. Okay, now we'll go ahead and update the reducer so that whenever your action is dispatched, your load contacts action is dispatched, it goes ahead and talks to the reducer. So our reducer currently is just taking the initial dashboard state. Now the second parameter is basically your on function. Okay, your on function is also part of, okay, I have imported the wrong on, it's actually part of your NgRx store only. Okay, so here it will take in dashboard actions dot load contacts. Okay, so this dashboard actions is something that we just exported in index.ts, so that it is taking from the actions folder. Now the second parameter that it takes in is the state and action. Okay, state and action. And as you know, I mean, a reducer is basically your NgRx store. It's an immutable state, right? So here what we'll do is we'll create a copy of the existing state and pass the updated state here. Okay, so the state remains the same, and what the reducer function will pass is just a copy by modifying the existing state. So what gets modified is your contacts, and it comes as part of the action dot contacts. Okay, how I am actually getting all this? So if I go back to the actions, I am actually passing a contacts object here, and the same contacts object is being used in the reducer. So the state remains the same, the only thing changes within that is the contacts, right? Okay, so now let's save this and let's go back to our application. If I open the Redux store, okay, so you see now the dashboard, what I call state, is still empty. And why this is empty is because we have not really dispatched the action from any component, right? So let's go ahead and do that first. Okay, so we'll go to our home component. Within that, view component, view contacts. Okay, so if I see the ng on in it, we are calling the contact list service, and within this we are getting the whole contacts, right? So now once this for loop is done, we will say, okay, for this to work we actually need we need to have the store injected in our constructor. So let's say private store, it will be of type store NgRx store, and we need to give it app state. All right, so app state is the global state that we already defined. So okay, oh, I missed. Okay, okay, so this is correct now. Okay, now let me go here. Okay, once the for loop is done, this is where, okay, this is the for loop ending. So this dot, so the way you dispatch an action is you use the this dot store instance dot dispatch. Okay, here you will actually write the action name that you want to dispatch. So our action name is basically load contacts. Okay, and it takes in an object of contacts, and you will pass in this dot contacts here. Okay, all right. So let me save this, let me run it, and let me go back to the UI. Okay, now if I click on load contacts, so this is what is triggered whenever I come to the dashboard page, and whenever the ng on it gets triggered, your load contacts action is triggered. And if you see the current state now, if I just show you a tree view, under the dashboard you have the whole contacts array. Okay, so this way we have created our first action, and we have also updated our reducer to get the dump of all the contacts and store it in our in-memory database, which is our NgRx store. Okay, so going ahead we'll also be seeing, so currently what we did is we directly called a service from the component, but going ahead the service call will be moved to something called as an effect, and from the effect we'll be dispatching the load contacts again. But to call that effect, we'll need to dispatch another action, which we'll probably see in the next video. All right, so if you like the video till here, please do give it a like, do share, and do subscribe to the channel. It always helps. Thank you everyone.